Coming up on All Things Considered, they have summer camp for swimming and summer camp for golf, camps for horseback riding and tennis, and tonight, summer camp for budding members of the far political right. Also, 5 easy steps, or maybe we list 6 or 7, I'm not sure, that you can take to cure the blues. So stay tuned. Hey kids, listen up, pay attention. It's the middle of summer. You're out of school, maybe getting bored and restless, trying to figure out how to make the best of your remaining vacation. If you're a politically minded teenager and your politics reflect a slightly radical right-wing agenda, then we might have the answer for you. A summer camp in New England for prospective members of the John Birch Society. New Hampshire Public Radio's Eric Westervelt reports.
After an early breakfast, 60 teenage Birch campers scurry about playing ping pong and other games. It's time to relax. It seems like your normal summer camp, replete with canoeing, evening campfires, and rustic cabins nestled in the tall oaks. But the calm revelry soon gives way to more serious matters. It's 9 a.m., time to learn about the maniacal plot to establish a bleak one-world government.
You've all heard the term conspiracy. If you haven't heard it before, you're going to hear it all week. And this talk is called The Insiders. And we're going to be discussing people who belong to a conspiracy whose goal is to destroy the sovereignty of this nation and to change or undermine or destroy our Constitution so that we are no longer a free nation.
That's Birch Society lecturer Doug Bursaw presenting one of the 5 hours of lectures given each day here at the John Birch Society summer camp in Rindge, a sleepy rural town that hugs the Massachusetts border in southwestern New Hampshire. It's perhaps the only camp to mix summer sports with elaborate lectures with titles like The Master Conspiracy and The UN's Role in World Domination. Named after a Baptist missionary killed by Chinese communists in the 1940s, the John Birch Society has been espousing its global government conspiracy theory since it was founded in 1958 by Robert Welch, a wealthy former candy maker. The core belief of the Birchers is that an 18th century defrocked Jesuit priest named Adam Weishaupt conspired with elites to control the world through a global government. The plot, Birchers say, is still alive and well today. The eyes of some of the adolescent campers seem to glaze over and heads nod sleepily as camp counselor Mill Afflick lays out the historic role of the Council on Foreign Relations, or CFR, in the conspiracy and its alleged connection to world socialism.
By all means, learn about the CFR, learn about their incredible influence in America today, because these guys are going to determine your future. You are the people who are going to have to go out and fight whatever wars are developed. You're the ones who are going to have to try to make a living in a controlled economy, an economy controlled by these very people with their Federal Reserve and their taxing privileges. I don't think I'm going to escape either, but you're going to be directly affected, believe me.
Afflick goes on to argue that those behind the conspiracy today include Bill Clinton, to former President George Bush, all the way to Cuban leader Fidel Castro. Campers are taught that the plot is propagated by the United Nations, the World Bank, and International Monetary Fund, and especially the Council on Foreign Relations. Birchers point to the increased role of the UN in Bosnia and elsewhere, and treaties like NAFTA, as examples of the great conspiracy in action. Despite the 5 hours of lectures, many campers say they love it here. 18-year-old Tiffany Truman of Maine has been coming to Birch summer camps for 7 years.
There are a lot of classes, and when I used to tell my friends what I do here, they'd be like, you go there because you want to, and there's 5 classes a day. They couldn't believe we really wanted to go, but they're interesting, and it's not like we do that all day long. There's, from lunch to dinner, we have sports and activities and free time. It's definitely a full day.
Truman and 19-year-old Bircher Liz Everett add that it's also a place for right-wing adolescents to find solidarity with fellow teenage conservatives.
You make friends that you'll write to, and it's not a class you just come to learn. There's friends. And
for the first maybe 3 years, that's the main reason I came back, because when you're 13, 14, you don't really, you're like, okay, so there's a new world order. What's that supposed to mean? You know you're getting information, and the information you get, you sort of store it in the back, and it's coming out now. But I'd come back just because I met some of my best friends here, because we all have grown up with basically the same moral upbringing,
Both girls say the camp is a kind of antidote to what they call wicked liberal public education. The lectures, the girls say, are not all doom and gloom. To counteract the conspiracy and turn back what they call the tide of socialism, Birch campers are taught what they call solutions, that the U.S. should return to the gold standard, withdraw from the United Nations, and abolish public education and the IRS, among other things. John Birch Society lecturer Bursaw claims that President Clinton's policies have been wonderful for the Society's membership.
Bush was good, Clinton's been even better. Why? Because they are moving so fast now. All these schemes like the health care and pro-abortion and pro-sodomy and all these things, the American people are beginning to really say, hey, what's going on?
To Bursaw and other Birchers, even the dissolution of the Soviet Union and tumbling of the Berlin Wall are not evidence that socialism is dying. On the contrary, they say, it's alive and well, especially here in the U.S. You see, he says, the Cold War never happened.
We didn't win the Cold War. We lost, because the whole purpose of the war was to change this nation into a socialist state. There never was supposed to be a hot war between the U.S. and Russia, because the government of that nation and the government of our nation have been allies since before the Bolsheviks even took over.
So the Cold War in some ways was an elaborate hoax?
Exactly. An elaborate fraud.
John Birch officials claim the group is enjoying a resurgence, although they refuse to say how many members they have. Officials say only that their influence exceeds their membership numbers. To help it get back into the conservative limelight, the Society has launched recent attacks on the federal government's Goals 2000 education plan, the Clinton health care reform plan, and the bill to ban some types of assault weapons. Whether or not the Society is riding high again in the right-wing saddle, campers Tiffany and Diana say the week-long session inspired them to fight the ruling conspiracy and have some fun while they're at it.
If you're not having fun birching, you're doing something wrong.
You're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right, because you should enjoy seeing the light come on.
This summer, the Society holds 7 other camps across the nation, from California to Texas. Meanwhile, Bursaw and other Birchers say they'll keep up the struggle against godless socialists long after summer camp conspiracy has ended. For National Public Radio, this is Eric Westervelt at the John Birch Society Summer Camp in New Hampshire.